Okay, we're going to make shapes also out of it, and I'm going to tell you how to make the rolls as well as the shapes, and I will give you a slight idea also how you're going to put it into a loaf. Now the ingredients what you see over here, these are very common ingredients. There is nothing something which is out of the box that you will not get and you will have to hunt for it or something, you know. This is very readily available. So let's look at the ingredients. Ingredients used are refined flour, yeast, grain sugar, fat, salt and water. First, I'm going to take the most important ingredient, that is your refined flour. I'm going to make a well over here and I'm going to put all the ingredients like your grain sugar, your yeast, all this in this well. So this is your fresh yeast which I'm using over here. I'm going to talk about all these ingredients individually later on, and then a little amount of water inside it. I'm going to mix this. Just make sure the sugar and the yeast is mixed a little properly. And then I'm going to slowly take all the flour and that start adding it inside it. Okay, just mix it like this. And slowly take all the flour and start adding inside it. If you see, I haven't put all the water inside it together. I just put a very small amount of water. I'm going to put water slowly inside it. I am not going to be rushing over here to put all the water together. It's very important you put water slowly. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to handle the dough later. If you see again, what I am doing is I am just trying to bring all the ingredients together over here, and with my palm I am kneading it. The kneading process is a very important process because with kneading you remove all the lumps, and because of which you form gluten inside it. Without the gluten, the bread is basically nothing. So it's very important that you form the gluten over here. Here I am kneading it with my palm again. See, I am going to keep on kneading it till it becomes nice and soft. Okay, there are no lumps till then. Now we are going to talk about the ingredients which we have used over here. The first ingredient is your refined flour, also very commonly known as your maida. So this maida we are going to sieve it and use it. Okay, I hope everybody knows the difference between the maida and whole wheat flour. Okay, just keep kneading. Then is your sugar. Now sugar over here we are using grain sugar. It depends on you that if you want to use a little small grain sugar, like the grains in sugar also are different sizes. The smaller the sizes, it is a little more costly. So castor sugar is something which is a little costlier. Okay, so you can use grain sugar also, normal grain sugar what we use for your tea at home. Then is your yeast, or the yeast what we used over here is your fresh yeast. Okay, there are three types of yeast. One is your fresh yeast, second is your dry yeast, and third is your instant dry yeast. Okay, so we are using over here fresh yeast. Okay, if you see over here, the dough has been nicely kneaded, and now here the dough has become nice and soft. I'm going to put my next ingredient inside it, that is your fat. This gives your product a very nice it becomes soft because of it. Here I had used vegetable fat, and then I'm adding salt inside it. Instead of your vegetable fat, you can also add margarine if you want to, and you can also add butter inside it. Okay, so not necessary you have to use your vegetable fat. Make sure you mix it properly. Okay, cream it nicely, mix it together, and then you put your dough inside it and start kneading it. Make sure all the fat is nicely incorporated inside it. Keep kneading it nicely. It's very important to knead the dough. Okay, the fresh yeast what we use, that is also known as your compressed yeast. Okay, the shelf life of the fresh yeast is a little less. Okay, in comparison to your dry yeast. It has to be stored in your fridge. Now if you see, the dough has been almost done. I have nicely kneaded it. Okay, how do you see whether the dough is done or not? It shouldn't stick to your hand. Now after the dough is done, make sure you start rounding it up properly. Okay, tighten it in the base. We don't want a very loose roll, and this will go on the normally we put it on the table, on corner of the table, and we put a duster on it, a damp duster. The duster which I am using over here has water inside it. Just make sure you remove all the water out of it. Don't keep too much water, otherwise it will this thing will come off. The dough will stick to the duster and it will come off. Now this is how it looks after it is proved. After proving it, the basic criteria of proving it should be double in size. Okay, this is nicely doubled in size. Now I'm going to knock back this. Okay, knock back the dough. I remove all the air which was there inside it and I knock back it. I'm going to divide this into 10 portions. So first I divide it into half, then I'm going to remove one from both the sides, and then half of it again. That is how I get my 10 portions over here. Remove this 10 portions, cut them off. After cutting the dough, I'm going to round it up. Make sure you have rounded up the dough. If you see, I am rounding it up and I'm tightening it in the base. Okay, the roll has to be very tight. It's very important. We don't want a loose roll over here. So tighten it in the base nicely. You can either do it on the table or you can do it on the hand also. It depends on you how you are comfortable with it. Okay, just make sure you nicely, there is not too much air inside it. Okay, this dough, after proving, like I'm going to put it for proving right now. Okay, again they will again double in size, and then again I am going to use a strand out of it. Now over here, if you want a simple round plain roll, this can prove and then directly go for baking. But over here I am going to make nice shapes out of it. That's the reason what I am going to do is I am going to prove this, and then I am going to make strands out of it and the shapes out of it. Okay, otherwise this can just prove and go for baking directly. Now you can see the rounding is almost done. Now this is the time when you decide, when can you see all of them, are they all of them of the same size? If any of those are of is little bigger or small, you can cut them like this with the help of a dough scraper, and you can adjust the shape over there. This can be only done in the end. Now over here again, it is very important that you have to be very fast. You cannot be very slow while rounding, because your dough will not wait for you, it will just start proving. So after proving, obviously it is going to look a little bigger in size, so I don't want that to happen. So just make sure it is nicely tightened up, the roll has been nicely tightened up, and then immediately you do the shaping. Now I'm going to cover this with the duster, damp duster again. Before I start shaping up my breads, I'm going to grease my tray. I'm going to keep everything ready, whatever is going to be required for me. I'm going to make the shapes and directly put on this grease tray. I can use my vegetable fat, melted vegetable fat, or I can also use a little oil. Okay, so anything that is available with you. Going to keep this on the side, and I'm going to make a nice strand out of this. Okay, so this is nicely proved. I'm going to make a strand out of it. See, like this. The first shape what I'm going to do is your Mercedes Benz. Okay, so this is how I make Mercedes Benz. The stand is not too big. just make sure you seal it in the base, okay, so that it doesn't open. The second shape is your figure of 8. Every shape will require a different size of strand, okay. Now see, I'm trying this the same size what was I did for the Mercedes Benz, but this is not coming in that. So what I am doing is I am going to increase the size of the strand, and now I can get a figure of 8, okay. Your next shape is your plain knot. Again, I'm going to make a nice strand out of it, okay. Making a even strand also is very important. So if you see, I'm rolling with both my hands and I'm evenly rolling it. For plain knot, a very simple knot, the most simple knot that you can do is your plain knot. Then is your C shape. We can also measure them with your fingers. So this is how you can measure them, okay. One whole palm and then your 4 fingers, and you twist it inside, okay. This is your C shape. Again, a very simple shape. The next step what we are going to do is your S shape, okay. Again, I'm going to make a nice strand out of this dough. It's very important to make a good strand, okay. My whole palm and 4 fingers, turn it from the top inside, and then from the bottom towards the midpoint, okay. This is your S shape. Next shape is your basket. This is a little tedious one. For this one you require a little bigger strand. So I'm going to turn and go below, and from the top again go in the base, okay. That is your basket. The next shape is your again Staffordshire. Very simple. This is also known as Gandhiji ka chashma, you know, just like that. It's very simple. For this you'll require a very big strand, okay. So now I'm checking first whether it will be done or not, and just go on top, and then from beneath you remove it down. But now the issue with this is the strand was small, so I have again rolled it. Make sure it is this big, okay. Now go on top, and from the down remove it from that hole, okay, like this. Now over here what we're going to do is, now there are 2 shapes left. One is your 2 plait strand and second is your 3 plait strand. So for I have 3 doughs over here, okay. So I am going to divide those 3 doughs so that I get, you know, for these 2 shapes I'll get equal amount. So first what I'm going to do is, see, all this I'm going to cut half of all of them, okay, half. So this 3 on top will be for the 3 plait strand, and the 2 will be for your 2 plait strand. So for these 3 ones, this is 3 plait strand we're going to start with. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a tapering end in the corners, okay, and a bulging center. This looks very beautiful, okay, with a bulging center, but it is not compulsory that you have to do it like this only. You want a plain strand, you can do even a plain strand, but a tapering end and a bulging center looks really beautiful. That you will understand once we do the, you know, the final bread roll. When we do the shape, you will understand that. All 3 of them have to be of the same size. It's very important. If they are not of the same size, then obviously your bread, your shape is not going to look of the same, you know, evenness will not be there. Put this in the base, this on the top, and again this across. Now over here I cannot go, you know, I cannot make a plate. So what I am going to do is, first I am going to put a cross like this and this on the top like this, okay. Then it's easier. So take this and put it in between this. I take this point, I put in between. The same thing like a plate, I'm going to continue it with it. And in the end, I am going to nicely seal them. Very important to seal it. Okay, put it upside down, open it a little bit. Okay, again go cross, put this in between or these two strands. Again take the sun, put in between these two strands, and continue with this. And in the end, I am going to again seal it nicely. So because of the bulging center, can you see it looks so beautiful? Okay, and this will go for on the tree. Now next is your 2-plat strand. For this I am going to divide it into 2 portions. Make a even strand over here. Don't make a very big long strand. Okay, both the doughs have to be nicely rolled. Now like a plus sign, I'm going to take this one strand and put it on top of it. Okay, make sure they're even and then go cross. Then the other strand, again the other opposite strand. So the alternate strands I'm going to put cross on top of each other. Make sure to seal it properly. Again, very important part to seal it. If you don't seal it, it is going to open up. These are all the shapes we made now, and these are going to go for proving. Proving will take around 15-20 minutes. This is how it looks. It have to bake it at 200 degrees Celsius for 10 to 12 minutes. This is the final product. I'm going to apply fat on top of it to get a nice glaze on top of it. Okay, after the baking is done. The color what you get on the bread is one of the major reasons is your sugar. Okay, if we have less sugar in the bread, sometimes you get very less color on the bread. Okay, but your flour also has enough of sugar that also helps in the color for your bread. They look so beautiful after baking. Okay, I'm applying fat on top of it. Again, this can be your vegetable fat or okay. I'm not going to keep it on the tray only. This has to go on a rack so that it cools down. Okay, if I keep on the tray, there are a lot of chances their carryover cooking is going to take place and the base is going to become more darker in color, and I don't want that to happen. That's the reason I am going to put it on the rack, cooling rack.